Giga greetings and a very warm welcome to the channel. Magpie842 coming at you with a slew of rhyming introductions. Okay, maybe just three. Yay, coming at you right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring, by the way, the sun is shining. I forgot to mention that. And the Magpie is casting. But yeah, seriously. It's featuring spawning. This has been the most disjointed intro ever. What am I actually on? But seriously, okay, let's focus. AndresTC over here, spawning in the east, playing as the Wehrmacht forces, is probably about to pick elite troops because that's what he's been doing mostly recently. Yes, on the map, which is Kolodny Farmer, and spawning in the west, playing as the Soviet forces, it is going to be SalmonTA. Who I have never cast before, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what he can do. Now, spoilers, if you've not watched the last video on the channel, which also featured AndresTC, I am about to talk about that battle. So if you haven't, and you'd like to watch it spoiler-free, stop watching this and go and watch the last video on the channel. Do so now, because I'm about to spoil what happened. Okay, you've now had long enough. So, last battle, Andre won handily, and I'm hoping that Salmon here is going to be able to put up a bit more resistance. Now, he's playing as Soviets, and the map is Kolodny Farm, which already somehow makes me feel a little bit more happy. I think it's harder to just dominate on this map. Angerville is one of those maps where if you can get your MGs into the right buildings, if you can push sufficiently far up, it can be very difficult for your opponent to just get back onto the map, and that's kind of what we saw last battle here with Andre, and that was against Zorro. So I'm hoping here, with Soviet forces, who are just notoriously more difficult to deal with, basically, they're just pokier and better at, like, making stuff happen, I guess. It's so hard, I'm not describing this very well. But anyway, let's just say I have a better feeling about this game with Salmon playing Soviets and the map being Kolodny Farm. That being said, though, Andre taking his early fights reasonably well here. MG42 set up in a glorious position. Pioneers getting all set up for the point-blank DPS. I'm actually kind of amazed he went back to the building on this. But anyway, I would be tempted to just stand here and hose at point-blank for a little longer. Whoa, Salmon, buddy, these guys aren't capping. You know they're pinned, right? You need to probably just fall them back. MG42 actually going to pick up, so maybe these engineers are going to have an opportunity to do something else. But anyway, also, if you didn't watch that last video, which you should be gone by now, but anyway, I explained in the last one, basically, my keyboard buttons were feeling like there was like loads of dust and fluff under there, which is probably true because I haven't ever cleaned this keyboard and I've had it for like two or 3 years now. So I tried to clean it myself. Epic fight being taken here by Andre. This is just amazing. He's doing so much damage. Soviet squads are being forced back and heavily depleted. A star of veterancy already on the Storm Pioneers with 4 kills. Sorry, they're just regular Pioneers even, not Storm Pioneers, of course. And Andre here just taking a tight fight. This is sweet stuff. MG42, Grenadiers, all present and correct, all in the right positions. MG42 gets set up. Molotov is early Molotov. My God, Salmon, what do you think this is? 2012? Damn. Anyway, yeah, so early Tov here going to spring on out, but it's not going to be enough. And Andre is just taking a gruesome fight here, like utterly just defeated all of his opponent's units whilst having to fall back none of his own so far. These Pioneers might have to GTFO in a second, but oh my God, that's brutal. Anyway, as I was saying, so I tried to clean my keyboard, popped a few keys off, and I was happily cleaning them, but the left Alt button, which is the one that I need to use if I want to rotate the camera and also for a few other things, the left Alt button, the plastic on the bottom of it is fatigued and has bent like enough that it doesn't sit firmly on the switch underneath. So if I press the left Alt button, it gets stuck down, which makes using the camera basically impossible in this game. Like, I mean, changing the camera angle. And it also makes ending the cast, as those of you who might have watched the last video on the channel, it makes ending the cast somewhat amusing. So, anyway, with all that said, all those disclaimers in, yeah, looks like elite troops has been chosen. Andre here, bang, going to be repping the stun grenades. Look at how much damage, what are they, 15 muni? 20 muni, okay. But they're still incredibly good. I mean, they stun a unit, they deal a ton of damage. They're absolutely great against units and structures, too. So, anyway, Andre actually getting tons of value out of this elite troops doctrine. And it seems to me, he is just, like, determined. Every game I've cast of him, like, recently, he just plays elite troops, plays a really regular style with tons of Grenadiers, Pioneers, MG42s, and Stormtroopers. And then just goes for Panzer IVs, and like that's it. That is as far as I've seen him take this strategy. He just gets to support Armor Corps and builds and just chain builds Panzer IVs for better or worse. Now for the last game, that was for better, although he did lose his first Panzer IV slightly unceremoniously. In this game, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he's going to follow that approach. But I have to say, I will be slightly disappointed if he does. I think I preferred the Andre of old who used to go for Stug Lights and Tiger Tanks and all of that kind of thing. But, you know, I did cast a lot more of him playing that style of game, and I've only cast a few of him playing this style of game. So, you know, I am happy to let him play this one out and see if he's going to do anything super spicy or anything really cool. Arg, sorry, my phone is attacking me right now. Okay, so anyway, let's check the tech here for the Soviet player. So, okay, there is none. Okay, whoa, he's got TOVs, anti-vehicle grenades, and medics. Holy spoons, Salmon. I guess he's just got, like, some really good conscripts, but actually conscripts still lose to MG42s and, like, nice arcs from grenadiers and stuff, so this is going to be really tough for him. He's also stacking a ton of manpower. Okay, here's why. So he's gone for the Guard Motor Coordination Tactics commander, so he will be relying on Guards elite infantry, I would have thought, the Guards rifle infantry, who in just as soon as he's up to 2 CP, I imagine he'll be dumping all of his manpower into Guards infantry squads, and that does actually make some sense. However, it still leaves him quite vulnerable to MG42s, of which Andre still has 1, and I would not be surprised to see him go up to 2. We've seen it before, we could see it again. And Ura going to come down here. This will be a quick TOV, I would have thought. More conscripts coming in for the backup here. A stun grenade is tried for, and it does actually come through, stunning a few models. It was like a partial hit on that conscript squad. Meanwhile, it looks like we've got Pioneers doing some backfield capping, and yeah, that's actually kind of about it, really. I mean, there's not actually a lot going on the map. The Soviet player with so few units. As you often see, what I do sometimes see Soviet players do is like bank a load of manpower early on. I think Sprice was one who used to do this sometimes. Captain S. Price, that is. And so you'd bank up a ton of manpower, like, I don't know, I think he managed to get up to like 800 because he bought almost nothing before 2 CP. And then he just like floods the field with like 3 squads of Guards Rifle Infantry, then goes up to 4 like ASAP. And 4 squads of Guards Rifle Infantry at an early juncture in the game is actually quite intimidating. Those PTRS rifles do a lot of damage, and once you start getting the DPLMGs on them, their anti-infantry firepower is like not inconsiderable, like it is absolutely not trivial. So, I'm just going to try and, like, assist the frame rate. There we go. So, yeah, I quite like that strat, but it's SalmonTA here, going for 3 squads of conscripts first, and all of the conscript upgrades. A little bit bizarre. These conscripts here just feeding themselves into some G43s and some KR98Ks here. This is just not going well for them at all, so they're going to fall back. And Andre here, with the beginnings of what appears to be another very dominant game. Last game... likewise dominant. This game, he is... okay, he's behind on VPs right now, but I don't think that's going to last long. Looks like some conscripts and some engineers for Salmon going to do some capturing work down here in the south. And he does have some resources connected, although Andre doing his best, as you can see on this fuel point, to restrict the resources of his opponent. So I would say this has definitely been a game where Andre has been dominant. Although he's not ahead in the scoreline, he has been ahead in every single fight. Is this a Maxim? Maxim! So we've got the support weapon Campanile. That is tech achieved, Salmon. And I do like mixing Maxims in. That is going to make life so much easier for the Soviet player here as he tries to control mid. If he can get that Maxim into this building, which I do realise there's a massive S minefield in the way now. But, if he can, then that's going to make life a lot easier for him. Uh-oh, does he see the S minefield? I guess you could send in the minesweepers, I mean conscripts. That is actually what he's going to do. Oh, there's mines everywhere in there. Careful, Vasily. And it looks like AndresTC realizes that his opponent's trying to make a move in this area of the map. I would actually love it, yeah, if he hops this fence and grabs this building here, because with the G43s, these Grands, gets there just before. They're going to do sick damage at this range. That is horrendous. MG42 actually even getting some long-range shots onto the Maxim, forcing that one back. Molotov going to come through onto these Grenadiers. I imagine Andre, yeah, he's going to be... He's not going to miss that one. He's pretty prompt on the building, hopping out of the building there. So, yeah. Andre kind of just policing this one really nicely. This squad of stormtroopers up here idle. They probably want to get on and grab this VP sooner rather than later. So keep an eye on the minimap. Hopefully they'll start moving sooner rather than later. I find it odd actually that Andre hasn't shift queued that one up, but whatever. Probably players of Andre's high caliber just don't ever shift queue up capturing because like they're just good enough. They have enough APM to shower everywhere that there's no point in that. But I mean, having said that, this is really important because this is time he could be catching up on the VP stakes, and he just kind of isn't. So. Anyway, these Grenadiers here taking a little too much damage. They're going to have to try and fall back, but they need to hop this fence before they do. I worry for these Grenadiers. Uh-oh, the fallback comes down, but this is a two-star squad of Grenadiers with G43s that because they had to fall back from here, that means that they have to run all the way round here, and then there's guards, there's conscripts. So they do go down. SalmonTA here, achieving what Zorro could not here. Achieving a nice early squad wipe. Well, not early, but achieving a nice squad wipe, a timely squad wipe on a squad of Grenadiers, as I said, with 2-star vet and a G43, is quite the costly loss for AndresTC here. So he's going to have to be a little cautious here. Looks like the Soviet player also spicing in here with a 120mm Muk mortar tube. So expect the heavy boom boom to start raining out of the sky here. And that's always intimidating, particularly when you're playing as Wehrmacht. The 120mm tube is just very intimidating when you're playing as Wehrmacht forces. There's no two ways around that. It just is. The radius of the blast and like the intensity of the boom can and will make your precious little 4-man squad disappear in the blink of an eye. So you do have to be very careful. No, it can't give them from full health, as far as I know. But yes, it can, like, give a squad that's only moderately wounded. Yeah, we're being shelled! So the mortar there causing immediately a fallback. A squad here that was overwatching down here in the south is now not going to be there. That opens the door in the south. This mortar is already providing value to Salmon. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what else it can get done this game. Panzer IV on the queue right now for AndresTC, which, as we look at his base, means that he's already got his support armor core established. And that is quite a timely Panzer IV, I got to say, actually. That is much more timely than in his previous video. This is going to be almost downright early. And the anti-tank facilities right now for Salmon include pretty much just the anti-tank grenades on these conscripts and the PTRSs on this squad of guards, which isn't really enough to deal with a medium tank. So he's going to need a Zis gun, and I don't think he was counting on needing one this early. Certainly there's not one on the queue, and the manpower isn't actually there right now to put one on the queue. So anyway, if his ears are perked up, he will hear the Panzer IV momentarily. And, oh my god, Andres is taking great fights. There's just Soviet units in states of fallback everywhere, stun grenades going off, like... This is just really sweet fights here from AndresTC, who just constantly has MG42s. I have to say, I like the way he uses MG42s. They're always right at the back of his units, almost moving forwards and engaging at max range. It's really nice. And the 120mm, like, yet to find any devastating hits. Still no kills on that unit. Some damage being dealt, but no kills. Anyway, Panzer IV going to announce itself in mid here, or just east of mid. Going to start cutting into some conscripts. Conscripts here going to make a beeline for the cutoff, and if they can just stay to grab this, that will represent some value. It will also, there's not any infantry particularly near, and Andre is probably, that is annoying that he's going to have to send a squad back to grab this now. So that forces these Grenadiers to be somewhere they don't want to be, somewhere combat inefficient for a while, so that's not bad there for Salmon. He could lose these conscripts though. They are being pursued. Panzer IV taking shots. Grenadiers here with G43s is not trivial. And there goes that I feel like that was a touch unlucky for Salmon, but I mean, it wasn't that unlucky. And Andre did play there for the wipe very nicely, and it is rewarded. So brutal times for the Soviet player, who finds himself in a bit of a hard place right now. This mortar doing it. Whoa, this is a clustered target. The mortar just took a shot. Oh, okay, it's firing somewhere else. Where is that mortar firing then? Man, I thought for sure he was going to take a mortar shot into that clustered target there. That just looks beautiful. Okay, anyway, AndresTC here coming in for a full frontal assault. Now's when I would really like to... Oh, the mortar finally does find a hit on these units. Now's when I'd love to be able to rotate the camera. Building here gets crushed. I don't think any units were in it. And now the Panzer IV overrunning. This gun has it in arc though, so that's going to be chewing hits in. Meanwhile, it looks like the Soviet player here, Salmon, might actually be taking this fight in the north. MG42 getting reset up though, so hang on, watch that, like, hold that thought. Panzer IV going to pop tac smoke and then get out of there. Okay, now it's just the MG42 against these guys, so I guess the 120mm can push this aside. So a nice fight being... Oh, incendiary ammo just being used to rinse out any last hint of value, and actually it looks like SalmonTA has seen enough. That game was so not over. I think SalmonTA was just like a little bit frustrated with fighting in his base the whole time, but damn. Wow, AndresTC just taking 2 quick wins on the trot on the ladder here, and I feel like neither of them really a fitting test for his capabilities. I mean, what can I really say about this battle? AndresTC fighting smart, fighting smooth. I would say that the battle was like 75-25 in his favour, but I mean, look at the top right of the screen. You know, that's not a useless Soviet army. He has a Zis gun, he has some indirect fire, he has some suppression, he has some reasonable frontline infantry. Yeah, he's behind, but I mean, if you're going to quit after 13 minutes when you're only this far behind, then maybe Company of Heroes 2 ain't your RTS, because seriously, you're going to be asked to fight from a lot worse positions than this, way often. Like, Company of Heroes 2, it's a game of comebacks. Like, just because you're miles behind, it's not quite like StarCraft 2 or any conventional RTS. Like, you can be miles behind and still claw it back, and we've all seen it countless times, and we've probably, those of us who've actually played Company of Heroes 2 for any length of time, have, like, reams of epic comeback stories, and it's one of the things that makes the game so cool in a way. You know, like, because in most RTS, once you're, like, reasonably far ahead, it's so easy just to close the door on your opponent and just make sure that they never get back in the game. So anyway, whatever. I mean, SalmonTA clearly thinks that his time is better spent in a different game. He's going to GG and get on to the next, and that is his right, that is his call. AndresTC going to secure a very rapid win here, and it has to be said, you know, if Salmon had have stuck in this game, it would have been a hard fight, but I feel like you learn the most when you're fighting, like, you know, this desperately. So anyway, yeah, 2 quick wins on the trot there for AndresTC. Thank you very much for watching. Stay posted for updates, Ari. I might be casting as live as possible the Artifact Cup. That's Homeworld Deserts of Karak tomorrow, which will be Saturday the 26th of November. So yeah, I might be casting that. Stay tuned to Twitter at MagpieCaster or Facebook, again, MagpieCaster, for more information on that. And yeah, I guess that concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching. And now I'm going to try and end this cast, which, like, didn't go so well last time. Here we go. Magpie842 signing out. No, Magpie842 signing out.